So now let's go back to, I think it was last Friday. And I said, hey guys, we're going to start a new unit and it's on positive and negative numbers. Then I asked you to give me all the things in the real world that we encounter on an everyday basis or a weekly basis with negatives. So can you remember what some of those were? It was almost a week ago. Eric. Yes, money. Okay. Okay, what else was there back there? Gavin. Oh, is this Gavin? Nope. Yes. What is it? Sea level. Yep. So Nick says sea level. Mason? Golf, right? Another one, Bryn? Football. There were a couple more. I mean, it's not limited to these, but these are the obvious ones. Nikolai. Temperature. Was there another one that you could think of? I think that was the main 5, yeah. Okay. So, sea level kind of goes with altitude, right? With the mountains high above and the level. So then, if I started out with a problem like this, and now you know those rules. You know that that's -3, okay? So today's assignment is going to be to, using one of these examples or scenarios, come up with a story or a word problem that would match that right there. So what could I say with any one of these to just turn it into a math problem? Because you know we got to get you doing the word problems. That's what everybody says, right? So anybody have one? Mm-hmm.
In a football match, you're at 5 yards.
Okay.
And then you do.
Yeah, I mean, it could technically work that way. The way it's written in this order, I would say you, on your first play, you lost 8 yards, right? Then you gained 5 yards. Now, let's talk for a second about this. Where are you now? So, or what is the total number of yards that you gained or you lost? And here's where I need you to understand this. Let's do this as sea level. Let's do a sea level question real quick because it lends itself better to this. Okay, and then I do want to do the football one. You are snorkeling. Okay, anybody ever snorkeled before? Kind of cool. You go under the water and you kind of need your... So, you are 8 feet under the ocean. Okay, it doesn't have to be sea. It could be a pond, right? I don't know why you would snorkel in a pond, but we say sea level. So it means you're under the water. So here you are, 8 feet under the water, and you are snorkeling, looking at all kind of fishies, right? You just have to have a really long snorkel, right? To be able to get that air up there. So, you are 8 feet under sea, and you see some pretty fish up here that you want to go and go up a little bit and take a look at. So those fish are 5 feet up, you go 5 feet up. All right? So now watch. If I were to say, where are you now? You would probably write 3 feet below sea level. It's probably what you would write, okay? And that is a correct answer. But do you remember the very first sheet I gave you where I gave you a bunch of these phrases and then you had to write the integer that matched that? So do you think I want you to write 3 feet below sea level? Or do you think I want you to write the integer that stands for? I want you to write the integer. So if the question might say, you're 8 feet below sea level, you move up 5 feet, what integer represents your current location? Do you understand? What is the integer that represents that location? Remember that day I showed you that slideshow? There was flood and the tips of the houses were pointing out, right? And the stop sign was peeking out over the flood. And then I said the surface of the water was 0. And then I said what integer represents the sidewalk, right? And you said like -7. That's what I'm looking for. So even if the question says, where are you at? I know 3 feet below sea level answers that. Because here's why you're going to write -3. Because not only are you going to put -3 as your answer, every problem is going to be worth 2 points. The problem and the answer. So I know I started you off and gave you this, but pretend like I didn't for a minute. Pretend like I just gave you this and said, hey guys, you're 8 feet below sea level. You decide to move 5 feet up. Where are you now? So you need to know that you need to write the -8. You move up 5 feet, and now you're at -3. 1 point, 2 points. If you put an answer for every single one, just an answer but not an equation, you're going to get a 50% because I'm giving you a point for the problems. Do you understand? Yes? Okay. So let's do another one. At noon, the temperature was 15 degrees below 0. Okay? By 3, and those times don't matter, right? By 3 p.m., it went up 25 degrees. What is the temperature now? Okay, so I know you can abbreviate because I know that's a lot of writing, but so let's take a look at that. It was 15 below 0, but it went up. What temperature is it now? So what would your equation be, and what would your answer be? I need those two things, Angelina.
-15 plus 25 equals 10.
Yep, so 15. Good. And it's positive, right? Okay. So do you see what you're doing? You are interpreting the words, making a problem, giving the answer. Okay. So now here's the only other. We'll do another one. And by the way, look at the title of this learning target is adding. So should I see any subtraction signs today? No. And that's going to be kind of weird in a minute. I'm going to show you why, because you're going to be like, no, that's subtraction. Okay? So every single problem that you put today has to have a plus sign in it. So let me do another example here. You have -$50 in the bank. Okay, sometimes the bank lets you do that. I know what people are thinking, like, how can you have less money than you actually have? Because if you go to write a check or something for more money than you have, sometimes the bank lets you do that. And then you know what they do? They say, you don't have enough money to cover that, but we'll go ahead, we'll give it to you. You just owe us $20, for overdrawing your account or something. So the bank has decided that they have loaned you basically $50. So you have less than $0 in the bank. You get paid finally for your paper route or for babysitting, and it's $87. Okay? You earn $87 and you immediately deposit it. So my question is, write the equation that represents what your new balance is. Okay? So equation, and that equation has to have a plus there. So, go with what you started with. What was your balance to begin with? -50. What did you put in there? 87. What is your new balance? Are you out of the hole yet? Yes. What am I out by, Joseph?
37.
Good. Yep, very good. $37. And I knew to subtract those because it took me 50 of what I earned just to get back to 0. It's no fun being in the hole like that, right? Eladio, you want to grab that? Thank you. So, are we good so far? Okay, because here's what's kind of weird on this next one. So let's say you have $90 in the bank. Okay, so this time you don't owe anybody anything. You're above 0. You're good. But you go to the ATM machine and you withdraw, we're going to say 120. And I know you're like, you can't withdraw 120. There's only $90 in there. But again, the bank is so nice to you. They say, well, sure, we'll give it to you. But you just owe us, you know what I mean, that late fee. So and this is what's going to be weird for a minute. You have 90, you withdraw 120. What is your new balance? Okay. And this is kind of weird because I told you that every problem today has to have a plus sign. But I know what you're thinking. The problem you want to write probably is 90 minus 120, right? No Kleenex, you can go to the restroom if you need to. Okay, isn't that the problem you wanted to write? Because you have 90 and you took out 20. But Mrs. Z said this is not subtraction today, that's next week. This is addition. So I'm still going to do this, but what could I put here to represent that? Yeah. Yes. Right? So if I'm adding everything, but it's really something that I need to show that I'm taking away, just make it a negative, and then it means you're taking it away, right? Okay? So what is my new balance now? That would be if I only withdrew 60. But I withdrew 120. So you were close. I had 90. I took all 90 out. My balance was 0, and then I took 30 more out. Lillian. Negative 30. Okay, I know what you're thinking because it's like one little measly little like mark on the paper totally changes things. Heck, yeah, it does. It really changes things. So if you forget that, like if you were to come to me and say, you know, that's the difference of $60, isn't it? Think about that. If you forget the negative, you're talking $60. What if you go to the store and you're owed $60, but they forgot the negative? Would you go, it's the same number. Negative 30 and 30, same number. You would be like, no. Okay? So if the answer, I will say this, if the answer to a problem is 6 and you have a negative 6, I will tell you now, please don't come up to my desk and say, the answer is 6, but I have negative 6. Is that okay? Is that right? What do you think? No, it's not all right. They're two totally different numbers. That's like the answer being 10, and you have 25. I have 25, but the answer is 10. Is that okay? No, you would never ask me that, would you? So don't ask me if this is okay, because it's not. It's a totally different number, okay? All right, let's do, so we're kind of good with the balances. How about this one? You borrow, so right now you have $0 to your name. You have no money, but you need to get your car fixed, and you know some adults do this. So you need to borrow some money. Right now you have $0. You borrow $100 from grandma, and then you need to get, I don't know, you need to put gas money in it after it gets fixed. So then you end up borrowing $30 from grandpa. Okay? How much money do you have right now? Don't say 0, because you wish you only had 0, right? So Eric, what do you have?
Negative 140.
Yes. So he knows, not only do you not have 0, you have less than 0. You have a negative $130. What problem goes there? Oh, what just happened? There we go. What goes there? Remember, I said it had to be a plus. So what do I put right here? You don't have to put the 0. Don't put 0 plus. Okay, Roger, I want you up here, hon. Pay attention. So what problem do I put there, Ryan?
Negative 100 plus negative 30.
Good. You know what? He knew they both had to be negative because that was the only way to get a negative 130, right? They both had to be negatives because otherwise I would subtract and I would have had negative 70. Do you understand what to do? Okay? So here's what we're going to do first.